1990, Nintendo developed and released F-Zero for the Super Nintendo console, with the main character being that of Captain Falcon. The details of Captain Falcon have it that he's not forgotten in modern times, but his original intentions, depictions, and even meaning have been. Originally, Nintendo wanted Captain Falcon to be the most well-known video game character for the Super Nintendo console, but this never occurred, and the character was only briefly mentioned a few times in the F-Zero games of the 1990s. In modern times, he's very well known for being in the Super Smash Bros. Games, depicted very prominently, and gamers know who he is. But originally he was, as mentioned, a moderately known character from the F-Zero games. The plot of the original F-Zero game was set in the year of 2560, where a much more advanced human civilization has had multiple encounters with alien worlds and alien civilizations, and this has changed the social and political orientation of humanity. This led to advances in technology, new opportunities for businesses, and cultural expansion between these businesses. Those who made billions of dollars from these ventures were satisfied but also wanted more from life. These desires resulted in new entertainment based on the ancient Formula One races but with more advanced technology. These vehicles could hover a foot or roughly half a meter off the ground. Through the popularity of these races, the Formula One races of the future were renamed F-Zero races. Originally, Captain Falcon was one of the characters in the game. There were others, but due to him being the main character depicted in the game, he was focused on in more detail. Even among F-Zero games, Captain Falcon was somewhat forgotten for a time. The sequel F-Zero X was released in 1998, almost a decade from when the original was released in 1990 for the Nintendo 64. There were plans for a sequel originally in 1996, but the ideas were abandoned by Nintendo as F-Zero X was originally called F-Zero 64 in the developmental phases. Captain Falcon's modern first appearance was in the first Super Smash Bros. Game released in 1999 and appeared in subsequent editions being released in 2001, 2008, 2014, and 2018. Released in 2001, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Captain Falcon would not even be necessarily depicted in this game, as the plot of the game had it that the past generations of racers have become famous, taking place 25 years after the original F-Zero game, so all of the characters from the first game are not mentioned except in passing. In 2003, F-Zero GX was published by Nintendo. One notable aspect of the game is that it introduced a story mode where the player assumed the role of Captain Falcon, and this added an aspect of death to the character. Prior to this, the only real mentions of story for Captain Falcon were through small mentions through the F-Zero games, in particular, depending on the one that happened to be played. F-Zero GP Legend was developed and released in 2003. What's interesting about this particular game is that it started an alternate timeline that is different from other F-Zero games. In this game, Captain Falcon is actually a title that is held by the best racer in the world, and it's not exactly a person. The current Captain Falcon is known as Andy Summer and is a bar owner in Mute City. Through the plot of the game, he actually fights his sworn foe and actually dies in this alternate timeline. In 2004, Nintendo released F-Zero Climax, being a sequel to GP Legend, for the Game Boy Advance exclusive to Japan only. The game received mixed reactions from gamers and critics due to the short aspect of the game and inconsistency with gameplay features. However, due to the mixed reception and reaction from gamers with F-Zero games for a period of time in the 2010s, the franchise will be put on an extended hiatus. Some analysts mention that Captain Falcon gained more popularity through his appearances in the Super Smash Bros. As mentioned when compared with his own F-Zero games. Even if a reboot of the F-Zero games changes Captain Falcon's position in Nintendo's overall games, it does not change the fact that an entire generation of gamers know him from being a character in the Smash Bros. Games. Sometimes a character can be forgotten, but not exactly, rather changed from their original focus being different from what is later seen.